Well, hello, everyone. I see we're still getting a few people coming in, so I'll talk slow in my welcomes. Thank you all for being here. Lori's going to have to leave shortly, so I'm going to go over the notes for her. And please, if you see anybody waiting in the lobby and I miss them and Lori has left, please let them in.
Madalena, this is Leah. I'm catching them for you.
Okay, thanks. So welcome to our May meeting. It's hard to believe that it is already May, but here we are. I hope the season is off to a good start for everyone. In case we have anybody new this time around, I'm Madalena, and I'm the DBE Program Chief for WISDOT. I will be your pilot for today's meeting, and my colleagues will join me in a few different areas throughout the agenda, and we welcome your discussion and questions as we move through. I'm going to go around and take roll from our previous meeting minutes, and then we will ask anyone who I missed to identify yourselves. And I see we have some phone numbers too, so I will not know who you are, so please let me know if I do not call off your name. Okay, is Steve Krebs here?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Steve. I see that Leah is here. Good afternoon. Beth Canestra is here as well. Hi, Beth.
Hello.
John Zignago, are you here? Okay, maybe he'll chime in.
I'm here.
Hi, John.
Hi.
Matt Grove.
I am here. Hello,
How
Madalena.
are you today? Hello.
Good.
Good. Ijoma, are you here today?
Yes, I'm here. Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon. Benji at OES, are you here today?
Yes. Hello, everyone.
Hello. Shannon Clary in Aeronautics. Maybe she'll join us later. Rosalind, DBE Support Services.
I'm here.
Great. Hi, Roz.
Hey.
Natalia Vega, did you make it? Okay, maybe not today. And we did see Jeff Peterson in his office. Welcome, Jeff.
Hello.
Lori Green is temporarily here. I believe Paul and Don is in a training for prompt payment. And Nishak.
I'm here.
Hi, Ann. Kyle Bell at Integrity, are you here? I see you.
Yeah, I'm here. I was on mute.
Is your colleague Sarah Upton here as well?
I'm here as well.
Hi, Sarah. Julie Harkinson, I saw you come in. Hello.
Hello.
Tom DeWinter, are you with us today? Also Aeronautics. Okay, maybe later. Ugo Nwabarocha, NAMAC.
Present. Thank you. Good afternoon.
Greetings, Ugo. Jill Fairman is here, our Proposal Management Chief. Becky Soderholm in Transit. Do we have you today? Hi,
yes.
Becky.
Hi, everybody. Happy to be here.
Don Miller. Maybe no Don today. Mary Forlenza at FHWA. Are you here?
Good afternoon, everybody.
Hello, Mary. Meenal Ham. No Meenal today. Marlena Williams, I know you are here.
Well, hello. Good
Program
afternoon, everyone.
Engineer. Hello. Okay, and Brian Mitchell is going to try to join us. He has another meeting, so hopefully he'll be here as well. Okay, so other names I can see. Krista Seberg, you are here. Hello. And Let's see. Kathleen Panic is here.
Yes.
Kathleen,
Perfect.
welcome to this meeting. Kathleen is our new GFE specialist. You will all get to know her and all she brings to the program very well moving forward. And Maria Rojas is also here. Greetings, Maria. Maria is our new DBE utilization engineer, so she will work with you on all things related to commitment modifications, hopefully additions, but she will work with us in various capacities, but also supporting any of those questions you have on DBE commitments. Thanks for being here, Maria.
Yeah, my pleasure to be here. Good afternoon, everybody.
We're happy to have you with us. Stephen Stout, welcome. You are here today, FHWA. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Natalia, I see you are here. You made it. And
Hello.
hi. And then there were a couple phone numbers. And so I'm not sure phone number people. Did I get you already in the main list?
Madalena, it's Craig Thomas.
Oh, hey, Craig. How are you? Glad you're here.
Good.
Okay, that was Craig. Anyone else?
John Zignago, you already got me.
John, I got you. Okay, great. All right. And I know Brent Freeman is not able to be here from Kramer. I didn't know if Darren was joining or not. If you're here, Darren, you can let us know. And we can move on to some words from our DTSD Deputy Administrator, Steve Krebs. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you, Madalena, and thanks everybody for joining in today. We'll continue with Zoom or Teams meetings for a while yet, but as things start to change in the world that we work in, we are all anxiously awaiting the opportunity when we can get together face to face, wherever that is, whether that's in Milwaukee or Hill Farms here or Madison, whatever the case might be. But really want to thank everybody for taking the opportunity to join today. Bring your thoughts, opinions, and ideas as we go through how things are going and continue the good discussion that we've had in the past, and that this committee brings us the opportunity to have those discussions and make what we do as best as it can possibly be. So thank you. Turn it back over to Madalena.
Thanks, Steve. So I'm going to review the minutes from last time. I hope you all had a chance to look at them. We began by greeting you all, taking roll. We reviewed the minutes and moved on to an overview of the DBE goal attainment report. We noted that we were trending above our 12.41% goal, and at that time, we're looking at a 14% combined attainment that included construction and consultant achievement. We had not yet calculated all of the neutral participation at that time. We did discuss then the letting results October through March, letting you all know the progress made thus far, how it was looking in terms of documentation submission at bid, efforts towards meeting the DBE goal. A reminder, of course, the best way to demonstrate good faith effort is by meeting the DBE goal. We let you know that the e-submit software would be available and sent out some instructions for that and information on how to use it. We had a good question and answer session, and then moved on to look at the rubric updates and revisions. I did provide an overview there, and I want to note that there is an error here in these notes that I did not catch. The sentence that says Madalena explained the new point system makes it a point-driven process is an inaccurate statement, so I apologize for that. That should read, Madalena explained that the review process includes 2 steps: initial review with the rubric and final team review. The rubric itself does, of course, include points, and we went over that, but it is not a point-driven process. And we went over the 1202 forms and information there that will help you support your GFE activities. We had more questions. It was a really engaged conversation. So thank you all for participating then. We hope you do again today. We then went through some industry issues and check-ins, covered some ASP4 prompt payment, retainage questions, covered what is the just cause option. We received some feedback on our updates to DT 1506 and overall progress in the program, improvements made, etc. We shared some information on the Mentor Protege program. We had some questions about aeronautics. Tom DeWinter did weigh in there, and if he's here today, he could address any questions you may have remaining there. And Mary Ferlenza did let us know about the prompt payment and return of retainage report that FHWA was working on. And we had a little bit further discussion on retainage. WTBA is monitoring that and any issues that might arise. Rosalind told us about the support services solicitations that were out in April. And Ugo noted that he appreciated the progress with the return of retainage and prompt payment issues. We had closing comments from Steve and Leah and promised to get you anything we told you we would send. And apparently we did so. All right, so noting the one change I have to the notes, are there any other changes anyone would like to point out?
This is Lori. I don't want to make a change. I just want to let you know that Tom D. Winter tentatively accepted the meeting invite, and then an automatic reply said that I think he's going to be working from home. So he may not be attending this meeting today at all.
Oh, okay.
Tom D. Winter. Yeah, I got an email.
Well, thanks.
Just to let you
know.
All
right. Well, Lori, sorry I usurped your meeting minute overview there. I guess I just wanted to talk a little extra today. So, any other changes, comments, questions? I see no hands except Lori's, which I think should be down. So, with that, do we have a motion to approve the notes? The minutes. Does anyone want to approve those minutes?
Craig Clements.
Craig. All right.
Second.
Craig and John? Okay.
Yes.
Was that John? Okay, thanks. All right, wonderful. Then we can move on to the DBE goal attainment report. And I'll go off camera and we will let Marlena share her screen and go over the report. Over to you, Marlena.
Thank you. And good afternoon, everyone. I was about to say good morning, but caught myself here. I do that every time. So yeah. Thanks for being a part of this day with us. I am going to start with a little discussion on the May letting, as it is not a part of our table here. We just had the May letting last week, and we are still mid-process in capturing all of the commitments and that commitment information. Some of the great news that extends from April into May is that we have few good faith effort requests, which meet 2 for the month of May. And that just means that all the others met the goal. So we're happy about that. There were 27 total, and the rest of them met that goal. What that means for all projects total assigned, in terms of the DBE goal amount, that puts us at about 4.3 million with assigned, and considering that a majority of them have met that goal, we're really pleased with that. So round of applause for another successful letting. We also, with the and with the 2 GFE projects that are out there, before I go forward, when I speak of all projects, that 4.3 million, that's just for what has been assigned. And of those assigned values, 431,000 of that is from just those 2 GFE projects, so which are currently in process. Altogether, we have 84 million of total contract values. I think I'm going to spend a little bit more time in future meetings just talking about what the bigger picture is and understanding, when we're looking at these projects, they have a percentage of federal dollars on them. And we talk federal dollars because it's important. But I think that it's also important to note, what's the bigger pot that we're looking at that does include those federal dollars. And so for the month of May alone, it was 84, almost actually 85 million. So we are trending well in that regard. And so just want to kind of throw that out there. With our attention to the table there, this includes construction as well as consultant achievement. So I'll start at the bottom right-hand corner there to kind of get us up to speed. So we have federal funds that are now brought through for consultant as well as construction. But in this table at the bottom where it says federal funds through April 2021, we've captured all that came from the consulting side up through the end of April. And so this will be updated once again for once we retrieve that information for the end of May, then that'll be included. I'm not sure where our next Transact meeting falls, but we try to keep them together where construction and consultant numbers are reported in tandem. So Dba commitments for consulting shows there the 15 million number, and total consulting and construction committed brings us to 96 million. Now, since then, Madalena has been working diligently with our new utilization engineer, Maria, and you'll see just to the left there's another yellow highlight called the additional construction achievement. And so that adds into the pot. That's 11, that's a significant amount of commitment. And so that has been added into our 96 million number. What that brings us down to is that initially without that 11 million number, we're looking at a goal attainment of 13.75, which does exceed, our 12.41, but it again raises that number with the 11 million, bringing us to the 15.35. So we're happy in the position that we are in. We still have May to report out and get that tabulated here, and we hope to continue in this way. We're thankful to be in this position at this point, and we would like to, again, continue to move in that direction. Any questions?
I have a question. It's Matt Grove. What are the fiscal year estimated, or what are the total federal funds for the fiscal year?
Well, so far, let's scoot on over to, let's see, what column does that show on your screen? We're looking at federal funds. We should look at column D. Column D gives that reflection of federal funding of 604 million, that 714,814 number. So that's what we have so far, according to federal funding. And we'll always keep the federal funding in that column there.
I guess the question.
Oh, sorry, Matt. I think
yeah.
I could help out a little bit too. Our overall annual projection for the next 3 years is 750 million in federal funds, with 650 million going towards construction and 100 million towards consulting. I did confirm with DTIM, though they tell me they do not have a crystal ball, but they believe that we are still on track with that 750 million. That would be still from now through September, end of the federal fiscal year.
Yeah, I guess let me point this question a little better. I guess what is the dollar amount of DBE that is the point that we hit the annual goal?
We have hit it right now, because you can see we're at 96 and our projection is 93 that we needed to hit, and that's of the 750 million. So depending on how much more, it will not be exactly 750 million, but we are likely not looking at, $90 million in September, something like that, that we know in years past has caused some anxiety in those last minutes there.
Does that mean that we will not have project goals for the rest of the year then?
We won't not have them, but we will be backing off of them, as you've seen us start to do already. I think anyone on the call who's been bidding will note that those goals have come down, because as we track towards meeting the goal, we need to make sure we're staying on a trend that is maintainable. But we're definitely will back off of them based on what is left in funding, and how we can trend towards still meeting the goal.
Okay.
And just another note there too, Matt, we do take the information that we get from letting to letting, analyzing that in terms of how the next goals are set. Just we want to check and see what are our highs and our lows when we're setting those goals, adjusting those goals according to the attainment that we're receiving. So yeah.
Right. I mean, at some point you hit the goal, and at that point they would become discretionary, and anything that's recorded from that point on would be simply race neutral achievement. But a project should not be at that point. Do we have to submit a good faith waiver, for example? Once we meet the annual goal, there should be no more hard goals on the projects moving forward.
Yeah, if it's a discretionary goal, are you asking would you have to put in good faith effort request? And you would not if it was a discretionary goal.
Okay. Are they going to be discretionary goals, I guess is the question.
There will likely be in some instances. So we need to make sure that we're not jumping the gun here, because, we don't have the crystal ball on the numbers, but we certainly feel confident that we can back off and try to work as much as possible through that neutral achievement. As we know, that's what the regulation guides us towards anyhow. So that is what we would be looking at. I see Steve, you're on the screen there.
Yeah, I just wanted to jump in. Matt, you bring up a good point, and it's worth having a discussion. And I think it's Matt, Elena, we're really estimating where we're at with federal funding, and we have June, July, August, and September to go yet, and there's always the possibility of redistribution coming in, other monies that may show up. So we can't go 100% to race neutral at this point, just because we don't know that 750 is going to hold throughout the year. Right. And that can fluctuate, and it does. It's really an estimate at the beginning of the year based on everything that we envision happening, but we do see changes to that. So we really want to be cautious, and moving forward, we're backing off on a lot of goals, but we need to keep some goals in place to assure ourselves that we will meet the overall 12.41 goal at the end of the federal fiscal year. So.
Yeah, thanks for that clarification. Does that help, Matt?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you, Marlena. Do we have any other questions for Marlena? Okay, I see none. I definitely want to give a shout out to Marlena for her work in tracking our attainment, and Maria, who has worked around the clock. Maria just started with us and basically walked in the door and started working with Natalia on all of the calculation for the revisions to additional Dba commitment that you, contracting community, have been submitting to us. And so we definitely want to put a big thanks out there to everybody who's been working to report this data to us and allow us to then put this towards our overall goal. And that in turn helps us to lower those upfront goals, making the goals more achievable and allow us to not spend all our time working on good faith effort requests, but instead invest our time back into DBEs to help expand and help them with business development. So we're really getting into a good place here, I think, all of us working together. So thank you for your efforts there. I do want to point out related to that additional achievement. So anything after contract execution, it is most helpful to us if you contractors are sending those attachment A's to us when you know you have a new commitment or additional commitment, because if we're trying to catch it on the other end when payment happens, we run the risk of missing the commitment, and we're also sort of working backwards because then we're at payment point and your commitment may be much bigger than the payment, but we're only seeing it kind of after the fact. So if you help us to get those commitments in as they're happening, we can see in some cases that that's millions of dollars. So thank you all. Keep up that good work. Keep working with DBEs. Thanks also for your additional efforts to be adding in DBE participation if a reduction is required. We're also working with our WISDOT project teams to see what we can do to reduce those types of changes that are impacting the DBE commitment. We do have a new procedure in place with the Southeast region where we will work together at the point of a commitment modification justification, where the region is looking at how that impacts the DBE commitment. They look at it with the contractor and with our engineers to make sure that we can minimize those impacts, because while there is a requirement for the contractor to continue to try to make up that DBE participation, it still doesn't make whole the DBE who has lost the work that was eliminated or changed. So we're all working on that together. I see, Ugo, you have your hand up. Do you have a question?
Yes, I was just trying to see how to take my hand down, so I just figured that out. So I didn't leave it up there for the next couple hours.
Okay.
And I'm going through reports, so my apologies if I missed it, but and I kind of asked before previously, is there anything in the reports that showed the DB breakdown by ethnicity or gender? Is there anything in the report that highlights that at all, or is that too early for that reporting to come out?
Yeah, we're actually just working on finalizing that data for the uniform report. We report twice to FHWA on all the demographic information every year. So we have that now and are compiling from consultant achievement and construction achievement. So by our next meeting, we'll definitely share that with you. And we can share it in the interim too after we've got that uniform report submitted. I'm happy to do that.
So then we can expect to see that report by June then, is that correct? Or
the uniform report has to get submitted June 1st. So we have that data ready to go before then. Make sure we meet our deadlines, right, Mary? We're going to meet our deadlines.
That is correct.
Okay, thanks. Thank you, Ugo. Okay, so I'm really excited about where we're at right now. So thank you, everybody. We're doing good. I want to share a little bit. I'm going to share my screen, simple chart here, but I just wanted to let you know how we have been tracking since the beginning of the federal fiscal year 2021. Our bids, total bids received, those that would have been considered non-responsive. As you know, we didn't actually call anything non-responsive until the May letting, but anything that was missing documentation, et cetera, that would have been considered non-responsive. You can see here we started with kind of a big number, worked our way down to finally April, everything complete. May, the critical period, everything complete, no bids, non-responsive from a DBE perspective. And you can also see that our GFE requests have been tapering off as well. So we are hoping that we start to get to that place. I know we had one last year that we had no GFE requests at all. We would like to see that again. Even though we have a new GFE specialist, we can give her other work to do. We don't have to put her only on approving GFE requests. So let's keep going in this good direction here. And with that, before I include Jill in the conversation, do you have any questions for me about responsiveness in terms of bidding or any other questions related to the letting that I might be able to answer? Do I see a hand up? Sorry, I thought I saw a hand, but maybe it went down. Okay, so I am going to ask Jill Fairman, would you like to share now, and we can talk a little bit about the updates that we are going to be introducing for Bid Express, upcoming enhancements for your DBE commitment entry.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jill.
I'm assuming everyone can see my screen.
Yes.
Okay, good. I guess this afternoon WSDOT wants to take a little opportunity to show you some of the upcoming enhancements we're going to be instituting with the July let that's upcoming here. As we went through the whole ASP3 process, Madalena and I met with many of the contractors throughout the implementation to get feedback. And two of the main concerns that were really raised routinely by many contractors were just the potential of mathematical errors on their DT 1506, as well as the difficulty of making changes at the last minute as they were receiving new and improved quotes, maybe from a different supplier, or maybe someone who was able to provide a better price. So we worked with Bid Express. We actually had a contractor go to the extent of reaching out to us and saying, you know, I believe it was Iowa, actually had a process within Bid Express that they could actually input all their DBE information directly into Bid Express, and it helped do its calculations and track their percentages, which to them was much more convenient. So we actually worked with Bid Express quite extensively and incorporated this into the process. It's currently still in the testing mode, but the final mock letting that we're going to be running is going to be this week. We're not anticipating any issues or any potential problems with an implementation to the July let. So we're kind of putting this out there and letting people know what's coming up. When contractors log on, this is what we call the general screen. This is not something that contractors put any information in. This should all be downloaded as part of the EBX files. So this won't change. The appearance shouldn't change in any way. Then you go to the next tab, Schedule of Items. And this is where all of the bid items for that contract are downloaded. You have the quantities, the contractors input their unit prices, and then you can see that it's tracking what the total bid cost is as you're going through and entering all those individual prices, or updating it as you make changes to those prices, which may occur as you get more opportune bids later in the process. Okay. Here's where things change a little bit. We have added a new tab. It's called Dba Commitment DT 1506. This is going to contain the information that you would typically enter into your DT 1506. If you can see here, we have an ID, a name, and then an address. These are all, and I apologize, these are screenshots because it's in test. I don't have active use of that at this point, so I can't show you. But in the pull downs, you can select by a vendor ID, or you could select by the name of the company. Oops, sorry, backwards. Or you can, there's also address, but that wouldn't help you a whole lot. But this will automatically populate out of what we call a bin file. The only important thing for DBs especially to note, or anyone who wants a DB status, that we need you to get into that bin file 2 Fridays prior to the let. We want to get everyone entered in there so contractors have an ease of developing their bids or finalizing their bids that week just preceding the let. So we would like to have you be proactive and get on the list if you have any thoughts of submitting a quote as a DBE as we move forward. Once you've done that, then this used as tab will have 3 selections when you do the drop down. One for a subcontractor, one for a manufacturer, and one for a supplier. So you would choose whichever is appropriate for that particular DBE. If you're just buying the materials, you would select them as a supplier. Then you would put in the total quote information here. What is the total value of what you're purchasing? If you're buying $100,000 worth of beam guard supplies, say, you would put $100,000 here. And then under work performed, you would note what work, you're buying materials for beam guard installation of some sort. Now, with each one of those, it'll populate up here with the name of the DBE, your amount entered, and the total. What is kind of nice about this bin file is suppliers are only credited at 60% of the total value. So if you have a supplier and you added $100,000 under bid quote, you will see an entered of $100,000, but the total amount would only be $60,000 because you're only accredited 60% of that. And then it'll keep track as you enter each DBE, this list of DB contractors would continually increase. And you could also go back if say you decide to use a different DBE, you could delete the DBE you're no longer using and then add the new DBE in. So it's very flexible and it tracks the total amount as you're going through. And as you can see in the middle of the screen, it's kind of, this is the I guess the brains of the whole entry system. This is the total amount of the bid contract. That would match this number right here as we're going through. It will track where you are in the dollar amount and percentage as you go through. Here's the goal. You want 192,000. Now say if you added 100,000, you would be probably around 8% or so in this total entered, and it would still say goal not met. If you get to 10.01%, this indication will change to goal met. So it's trying to give you as many flags as possible to help you track where you are in the system. And what's nice about this is if you go through and you have to get a new DB quote or a refined DB quote, or any kind of quote as far as that goes, you go back to your schedule of items, you adjust your prices, this price automatically adjusts, and then you go back here, this will adjust, and so will this percentage. So any changes you go back and make in the schedule of items as far as your unit prices will be reflected on this page. So it's very easy for you to track, limits the mathematical errors, and makes quick changes at the last minute reasonably easy as you're going through. Does anyone have any questions pertaining to this particular page? This is probably the biggest change, and if they do, we can definitely address them at this point. Okay, hearing none, feel free to ask later if you want as well. Then you move on to the miscellaneous data tabs. This first part of the page doesn't change from what we had listed before. You're just acknowledging that you are not submitting some electronic file, and that you're also agreeing to the internet bid submission certification as we're going through. If you have a DB goal, in this case, this project had a 10% DB goal, you will get this information shown. And it gives you the instructions as you're going through. I guess to kind of let you know, now with this ability to enter the DT 1506 electronically, we have put in here, we still maintained that you can attach a hard copy PDF file, however you want to reference that, of the 1506 here. If you didn't enter any information in that DB commitment tab, just because we don't know what everyone's comfort level is going to be with that. But if you have entered it into the tab, you do not need to attach a hard copy of the DB 15 or the DT 1506 here. Our anticipation is that as people get used to it, they're going to use the electronic system, and eventually we will see that particular field disappear just from non-use. No reason to have additional fields that nobody utilizes. Attachment A's or DB quotes are still required at time of bid, so this field does need to be filled out. Same process has been used before: browse, preview, and certify that you have the correct files in there. Quick reminder, if you do submit DB quotes at time of bid, you do need to send the signed attachment A's to the DB Alert mailbox or eSubmit system so that Madalena's team can verify the information on the attachment A and submittals. And then also we ask, instead of having you attach the 1202, we're just asking at this point, did you meet the goal or not? And this is a way for us to track whether or not we need to be looking at DT 1202 or a good faith effort on a particular contractor with a particular proposal. If you did not meet the goal, you would need to submit your DT 1202 with all the supporting documentation via eSubmit or the DB Alert mailbox within that 24-hour time frame after the let. Okay, so that kind of summarizes exactly what our changes are going to be. Pretty straightforward. We're hoping, based on some input from other contractors, that this is going to simplify your process quite a bit. If anyone has any feedback as they start using it, please feel free to contact us at any time and we'll see what we can do. Any questions or any feedback from anyone?
This is Jeff Peterson. When you're filling out the electronic 1506, let's call it, and you have a change and you've got a new DBE, so you want to get rid of the 1506 that you originally put in and put this new one in, how do you eliminate somebody?
Well, if you have a list of people here, this delete key will actually be darker. And so you would just highlight that contractor and hit the delete entry.
Gotcha. And that'll redo all the math with the goal and all of that.
Correct. Correct. And just to kind of let you know, BidExpress has been involved in all these changes. They're actually going to hold 2 training sessions at the end of June. I believe I want to say June 23rd and June 30th. They'll be sending out email blasts to anyone who has an account with them for Wisconsin bidding, of which they'll go through this and have an active file and be able to interact with the contractors as well. Both Madalena and I will be attending both those sessions, just in case there's some questions relative to Wisconsin's business specifically.
And once a firm is in the system, you said they got to do it 2 Fridays before the letting, but I mean, once they're in, they stay in, right? They don't have to redo it every letting, do they?
Correct. Yeah. It's just the new DBEs. If somebody new contacts you early in the process, please encourage them to go through that process as soon as possible.
Got it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Jill. I'm going to tag on to that, that piece there just a little bit to say that we have the ability to work a little faster when we've got an interstate firm, so they're certified in another state and you want to include them. We have seen an increase in contractors recommending firms to apply with us, and that has been great and particularly helpful in the Northwest region where some of the firms from Minnesota are now certified here too. And so that is important if you are encouraging any DBE to apply with Wisconsin, that they do it as soon in the month as possible so that we can get the information we need from their certifying state and move the application along. So thank you so much, Jill, for going through that. I know there is a lot of support for this. Any other questions anybody has right now on that piece? I am seeing none. I will move down to the industry issues check-in, and I'm going to go around everyone. So get prepared with what you'd like to add. But I wanted to give one update related to some of the support that we're working on. Well, two updates really for the DB program. And one is that we are in the process of bringing the Mentor Protege program for consulting back online. So those efforts are going very well. I think it's 12 mentor potentials already have shown interest and several DBEs. We do encourage you as a DBE, if you are interested in working on building some areas that can support your business growth, please reach out to us. Benji is helping to coordinate that program with us, and she or Roz can provide you with more information. We also have additional mentors waiting on the construction side. So this could be a good opportunity for you, primes, as you're having conversations with DBEs, and potentially there are DBEs who are quoting you and you're not using them. You could recommend that they might get engaged in our Mentor Protege program. We have a survey, easy to fill out. They can indicate the areas they need some help. Maybe you've noticed it's in bidding and estimating. We can help out with that, get them lined up with someone. We've found that especially as people may have, businesses have experience working with municipalities, but they're trying to figure out how to work with WISDOT, this can be particularly helpful to them in navigating the website and the plans and specifications, all of that kind of information that might seem a little bit overwhelming if you're not used to working on state projects. So please feel free to, we encourage you to spread the word there. And if you're interested in getting involved as a mentor or protege, please do let us know. And then the other main development in DBE support is that we have gotten the mobilization loan program back into a place where we should be able to offer guarantees on funding for mobilization funds for qualified DBEs. So that's a really important program that can provide the support that small businesses need, you know, in that time in between when you're waiting for money to come in and you're still paying your people. So we're really happy, and I thank Roz for all her work in that area. Roz, as I am going over those types of support services, do you have any other items that you want to add here in the work that you've been doing?
I hear you. You kind of caught me off guard right now. So you mentioned everything. We working on the Mentor Protege, keeping that going, and the mobile loan. We're working on that right now. So, and other than that, I don't know if you guys want to mention the annual event dates or not. I'm not sure.
Let's wait until we are for sure we've confirmed them, but that's a good point that we are in the works
I'll have
there.
more information because right now we're still working on the support services consultants and getting their contracts in order. So I think next month or the month after we'll have more information to share.
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you. And then finally to note in support services is that we have added a couple new consulting firms for the next 2 years who will be focusing on helping us to develop firms, so both recruitment and development of existing firms, primarily in Northwest and North Central region. Then depending on how that goes, we will be looking to do more development in Northeast region, as we know that 41 will come back at some point, and the other consulting firm will be working with us to help DBs get ready for these big projects that that are down the road. But we know time goes fast, and so we want to make sure firms are prepared, they're trained, have the technical experience, that if they could qualify for an expansion of their work areas, we can identify those, help them get there. And we also want to have a presence at pre-cons so that we can facilitate some networking between DBs and primes that used to happen in the days of face-to-face. And we'll figure out how it could potentially happen in the virtual environment. But as we look to pre-cons happening more again in person, then we look to creating those types of opportunities for networking again, which are really important. So those are some of the updates that we have been working on in terms of our business development efforts. And this is a really, really critical area that we're happy to be able to be starting to focus more attention on now that we, in one way, have fewer good faith effort requests. And so we can put some of that time into our firms. So that is what I have at this time. I'm going to go around and we will start with our associations, but then I'm going to go to everybody. So American Indian Chamber. Anne or Craig, anything you'd like us to know?
I don't think we have anything to add. Nope, neither do I. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Mary and Stephen, you're listed next here, FHWA.
Nothing in particular. We've got a lot popping with you guys. Pleased to see what's happening with the bid lettings as we go through the year, and just keep up the good work, and we'll continue to be implementing what we're doing.
Great, thank you. And that reminds me also to thank FHWA for expediting our changes to ASP3, because as you have heard from Jill, as we have new options for accepting the 1506, ASP3 needs to match. So our colleagues over at Highways have been wonderful in accommodating that request and moving it along. So our documents are going to be consistent. So thank you there.
You're welcome.
Ugo, any updates, questions, comments from NAMAC?
No, I think it was very, very informative. Glad to see the progress. And obviously, I mean, just the only concern, as I mentioned earlier, and it appears you guys are on top of it, we want to make sure that we're staying abreast and that we're cognitive and we have visibility of what the ethnicity participation of these goals are. Obviously, seeing how much progress we're making in those areas so that we can see how much work we need to do in that area. But outside that, no, it seems like great progress, and like all the information, and I think that's the only thing that we will be waiting on. And thank you.
All right, thank you. And Matt Grove, WTBA.
I don't have any specific comments related to the program. I guess one thing that I just did want to bring up is make everyone aware of the fact that we have, I think it's going to be an interesting year. We have material and supply shortage issues brewing in a big way. So I don't know how that's going to unfold, but it's a huge concern right now, and not necessarily a DBE issue, but it will be a contractor and supplier both issue moving forward.
Okay, well, thanks for bringing that to our attention.
Hey, Matt, Marlena here.
Yes.
Speaking. Matt, really quick, is that just, I know I've heard of the aluminum extrusion, some issues with those, but are there any others that are of high concern? above that?
Yeah, I mean, it's resin-based products. Hopefully that'll get back up and running. That's hard to predict, but there's also, there's wood and PVC pipe, and there's more and more popping up, I guess, all the time here. So it's a concern.
Steel prices are way up.
Okay. And I've been looking to follow just because I wanted to know. I've been trying to monitor which ones WSDOT is making adjustments to those where price increases are not applicable, and for the others where it is acceptable depending on when the project was bid. So just curious. Thank you.
Yeah, Marlena, just a comment on that. I guess, price increases, that we would pay are not acceptable. So, our contract's very clear on that, at most we would consider an excusable non-compensable delay if there were shortages, but there are no price adjustments.
Thank you.
Okay, that's good to know. Okay, thank you, Matt. Keep us posted. And now I'm going to go around the room, so to speak, and we'll start with Benji. Benji, anything to add? Questions, comments?
I'm so sorry. No, just sitting here writing notes and listening. But the only thing I do have to say, though, is about the mentor protege. If you guys do have any interest, Rosalind and I are hitting this thing pretty hard. So please don't be hesitant in asking us any questions. Or if you know of companies on both sides that are interested, please let us know. Thanks.
Thank you. Beth, I'm going to come back to you in case you have anything to add or any questions for the group.
I have nothing additional. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Krista Seberg. Oh, I just lost Krista. Well, I guess no comments. Leah, you are next on my list.
I just, a couple comments here. I would like to also, Jill, you and Madalena, you've done a great job with all of the, getting us to the point where we are seeing implementation with the Bid Express for the DBE commitment entry on the DT 1506. So that's exciting. And I do want to thank those contractors who participated in our small work group discussion back in December that gave us your feedback and took a look at what we were trying to do. So that was very helpful in getting us to the point where we're at today. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you, Leah. Ijoma, would you like to say anything?
No.
Okay, thanks. Jill, I know that you had the floor for a bit, but anything else lingering for you?
I just want to take an opportunity, I guess, to suggest, recommend, I should say, to any of the primes that are submitting bids. We will have these upcoming changes. We don't anticipate any problems with submitting any bids, but we always recommend that you submit a test bid a day or two ahead to see if you have any issues, if there's any problems with communication. It could be as well on your end as well as ours. It just gives us an opportunity to actually get it fixed. We did have a contractor that had issues with a digital ID this last time, which created bid submittal issues. It's a perfect time to check that stuff. 5 or 10 minutes or even an hour before the letting, it can be difficult to get those things done. So just if you can take the opportunity to the day before, submit a bid, withdraw it, just to make sure all the systems are working, I would definitely encourage that. That's it. Thanks.
Great. Thank you, Jill. Jeff Peterson, what are you thinking about?
I think it's great, all the progress we've made as a group, and that the goal's been made, and that Mr. Krebs still thinks there's going to be more federal money coming, so we got to keep adding more DB dollars. I like it.
Yeah, I like more dollars. Thanks for being here. Julie Harkinson, anything to add?
No, not at this time.
I see Camilla Bent is on as well. Camilla, thanks to you and Julie for your efforts in data collection. We appreciate you.
You're welcome, Marilyn. Thank you.
Steve, I see you on camera. Would you like to say something?
Sure, I'll just say a couple of quick words. I don't want to keep everybody. The information that you presented, I want to thank everyone, our industry partners, consultants, the WISDOT team, everybody that's been working so hard to make these changes to ASP3 and get things implemented, keep things moving in the right direction. You know, we've had a lot of super good feedback to help streamline things and make it work better, both on the contractor's end and on the subs and on our end. And all that hard work that we've been going through is this, you know, this group has been working through so many things for many, many months now. It's coming to fruition. You can see the results. It's so encouraging to see all those things, and also to see the continued strive or push to streamline things with Bid Express and the 1506, and you know, our desire to make this as seamless as possible, both on the contractor side, the subcontractor side, and WISDOT side as well, so that the information can get entered accurately. We can review it quickly and get things turned around and keep these awards and contract executions moving forward. So, you know, there's a number of different people that have been involved in all these different initiatives that we have going on, and it's really paying off in a big way. And so I want to thank everybody for all your input, you know, all the different ideas. And some of them, you know, we've really made, you know, great strides and done really wonderful things. And some of them not so much, but, you know, it takes all those ideas coming together to keep, you know, saying, well, what if, and what if, and what if, and, you know, I think, you know, all those ideas that we've been talking about for months and months and months, it's really paying huge dividends now. So thank you all for your participation, your help, and your patience as we've moved through all these different hurdles.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Steve. Okay, I'm going to keep moving through here. Kyle at Integrity. Thoughts, Kyle?
Yeah, just had to unmute myself for a second though. You know, I don't really have any questions, but it is kind of exciting to see the, you know, utilization of technology going forward. I think some of the challenges that we have when throwing together estimates at the last minute is constantly updating that contract price, constantly recalculating our percentage and everything. So yeah, having that all online, or I guess part of the program, is going to be more efficient, I think, for us in some cases, and in some cases be a challenge for the estimators, because they get a little uptight as it is. So we're gonna have to figure out that process.
Okay, well, practice in advance, like Jill says.
Yep, will do.
Okay, thank you. Brian Mitchell, I'm glad you made it. I'm not sure how much of the meeting you heard, but do you have any questions or comments for us?
I don't have any questions or comments. I came in late and I have been interrupted by 3 phone calls since then. So let me not waste your time.
You're in demand, but glad to see you here. Thanks, Brian. And Kathleen, at your first Transact meeting, any questions or comments for the group?
No, no questions or comments, just that I look forward to working with everybody in the coming months and years. And I'm excited to come in at this part of the process because it seems like a lot of good things are happening. So I'm happy to be here and happy to work with everybody in this group.
Thanks, we're happy to have you. Rosalind, do you have anything to add? Did we say it all already?
We said it all.
Okay. Maria Rojas, tell us what you're thinking.
Well, besides all that I have heard about all your achievement, I am with Kathleen, just excited to be part of this group, and thank you so much for allowing me to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for all your efforts. Sarah Upton, anything
Yeah.
for the group?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to agree with Kyle that I think the electronic portion through BidX is going to make the process a lot easier. You know, we were running a spreadsheet on one computer with our percentage and updating it constantly with the estimator's new number. So I think that'll be very beneficial, and we're looking forward to that.
Great. Thank you. We look forward to feedback too as we move along. Becky Soderholm. How are you doing, Becky?
Doing well. Just had to unmute as well. I have nothing more to add today, but thank you.
Okay, yeah, thank you. And thanks also for your efforts on updating the DBE program plan. We did work with aeronautics as well, and that program plan should be now listed on the website, and it links to different forms, etc., for all of the modes that fall under the DBE program. I believe Paul updated that, so thanks, Becky, and it can be kind of the one-stop place for people to get information on all 3 programs for DBE.
Yep. Thank you. I visited it. The DBE program plan is out on the web, and I've been visiting it often.
Good. All right.
You.
Yes. Natalia, would you like to add anything? Any questions you have?
No, but thank you.
Sure. Okay, Marlena. Anything lingering?
Nope, not at all. Thank you.
Okay, sure. So my people on the phone, I know John Zignago, you were on the phone. Anything that you would like to add or any questions?
I apologize if it was already mentioned, but when is the launch date on the electronic 1506 going to be?
It's the July letting. I believe that's the 13th, Jill.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the 13th. It'll
Okay.
The advertisement will start June 8th. So with that letting, we selected that date because it starts and stops. We complete one letting and start the next as we're going forward.
And you will get those announcements about the training sessions, and we'll also have that posted on the web. If you didn't receive an email for some reason, you can follow a link to sign up for one of those trainings. And I am sorry, I forget who else is on the phone. I know, Craig, you were on the phone, but I think you didn't have anything to add. Do you want a second chance?
No, I was good with my first one. But I got nothing.
Okay. All right. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Sure. Okay, so I may have missed another person on the phone, but I don't see a hand up. So I'm guessing maybe you're breathing a sigh of relief. You are off the hook from having to answer me. But please do come with your questions or comments. I will now be thinking about other areas of interest to bring to the group for discussion that might serve as a springboard for us to look at other areas to develop opportunities and continue to improve the program and build upon our best practices. The calendar does not show any upcoming dates, but I did want to note that the DBE Stakeholder Advisory Committee in the Southeast region does meet next week on the 28th, and it does meet monthly. So that group has been a good place to generate dialogue for developing both diverse labor opportunities and starting to look at how we can address some of the risks and issues that small businesses are experiencing too. So that is upcoming. And with that, I think I might be able to return a bit of your afternoon to you all. I thank you for being here today as always.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Take care.